All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of the Dream Home Project. Before I get started here, I wanted to mention that the last couple weeks I've been at a little bit of a crossroads with my YouTube channel, not knowing if, I've been putting so much time in, so much effort, hours and hours of videos and content, not knowing if I was going to continue doing it or not. Because the point of my channel has always been for my students, and I have a ton of content for them, like plenty for like multiple years of school. And sometimes I do have my students like 2, 3, or 4 years in a row, which is crazy. But the point is that I was putting in so much effort and I'm just not reaching enough people. And don't take that the wrong way. I don't care about the money or anything like that. I mean, God knows I don't care about the money. I make like pennies on the hour of time that I put in. And anybody who has a YouTube out there knows that, it doesn't do very well unless you're like you have like millions of subscribers. But I was at this crossroads where I was either going to just like take a break or stop, or I was going to just jump in and like really go nuts. And at least for a little while, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump in and I'm going to go crazy here. So I'm going to be shooting all kinds of content. I've got a new intro, a new logo. I'm taking more time with my editing and my trimming and all that stuff. And I'm really just trying to like jazz everything up, because I think the reason why I'm not reaching so many people is because I don't really make things look pretty, and I don't make them like clickable, like where people are like, oh wow, that video looks interesting. I don't do interesting titles and interesting thumbnails and things like that. So recently I've been trying that, and I think that we're gonna go nuts with it. All right. So hopefully somebody out there appreciates this. Please understand that, I appreciate every single comment that I get. People say thank you, even thank you is just enough, but tell me where you're from. We've got people from all over the world saying thank you. And it really actually means a lot, because as a teacher, that is what's the rewarding part of this process. Not the money. So anyways, here we go. We're in part 2 of the Dream Home. All right, so if you guys want to use this file, it's in the link description. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all my stuff out. So I'm just going to select all this stuff, do enter, and click anywhere, and just move this all the way out here. I could delete it, but I like to steal stuff from it. So for example, and by the way, I'm doing this in AutoCAD Architecture 2021, but you could be in AutoCAD 2021. You could be in AutoCAD any year, and you could be in AutoCAD Architecture any year, but I'm in 2021. And there are a couple differences between 21 and like 20 and anything newer. So as I'm going along, I will talk about that. But what I meant to say is that you don't need to be in AutoCAD Architecture. You could do this in AutoCAD. You just won't have the walls, windows, and door tool. But you can use lines for this stuff, and I'll explain a little bit of that as I'm going on as well. So if you're in AutoCAD Architecture, what you're going to do is you're going to select any other wall that's in my file, or if you don't have my file, you could just use the wall tool, and you can just change the thickness of the wall to be 3.5 inches, because that's your true size of a 2x4. But I'm going to select one of my walls, and I'm going to do add selected. With drawing walls, I want to talk about something that I've talked about in other videos, but just in case someone new is coming into this, I want to explain this real quick. You can see on my cursor it says justify left, and what that means is that when I click down on the wall, the justification corner being left, if I'm drawing clockwise, is what I want. If you're drawing counterclockwise, then you want to change it to right. And the way that you change it is by hitting down shift. So let me do that again real quick. Let me grab a wall. I'm actually going to copy it over so I don't have to keep going back over. All right, so now if you click a wall and you do add selected, I'm on left because I like to work around this way. And whether you're doing my project or you're doing your own, you're going to type the distance of how far each bump in and out of was on your house. So if you're creating your own plans, you might have like 20 feet across and then 10 feet in and then 15 feet out and 10 feet over. You want to do those all clockwise, and using a left justification. If you do counterclockwise, do right justification. So if I hit shift, it goes to center. Center is worthless. If I hit shift again, it goes to right. So make sure that you're on left if you're following the way that I'm doing it. Looking at my plan, and I'm going to put this up in the video right now as well, but I'll also flash it up every once in a while as I'm looking at stuff. I'm looking at the floor plan that I drew, and I can see that I had so for me, it's just this is a very, very simple project that we're starting with. It's just my house. It's a ranch. It's got 4 sides. So 26 foot 1, 54 feet, 26 foot 1, and then 54 feet. So with the wall tool selected, with the wall selected and add selected, you can click down and you're going to go 54 feet, and you put an apostrophe there for feet. And then you're going to go down and we're going to do 26 feet 1. Now, if you had a mixed number, like it was 26 feet 1 and 1/2 or something like that, you would, every time you say the word and, you would put a minus sign. So 26 feet 1 and 1/2 would be 26 feet 1.5 inches. But for me, it's just 26 feet 1, enter. And then we're going to go back this way, 54 feet. And then we're going to do C, enter for close. Okay, now I can get rid of this wall. I'm not going to do any doors, any windows, any rooms, any kitchen or anything like that in this video. We're just going to do the exterior stuff that we measured. If you didn't see part 1, I'm going to put a link in my description. You should really watch that first, because that was about how to actually measure your house and what to write down and what to look out for, and just like the general process of doing the exterior measurements of a house. Now we're just drawing up the exterior of the house before the next video where we measure the interior of the house. And then after that, we'll draw up the interior of the house. Okay, so we're doing floor plans only right now. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go over to one of these other ones again, and you're just going to grab something that's yellow, although that one's upside down. So let's go over here, grab something that's yellow, because that's my note layer. And the reason why they all have the different colors is because they're all on different layers. Right now you can see I'm on the wall layer, and I have a lot of layers. A lot of these don't matter for any reason, but we want to be on the yellow layer here, the A text. So now you could go into this list and just click on A text, or you could use the tool called Make Objects Layer Current. So if you click on that, you can just click on yellow, and then it's going to kick you into that layer. Okay. Everything that I note up, that's like, here's where the AC is, here's where the electricity comes into the house. Anything that you're drawing up that's just like a note is going to be in yellow. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start, and I realized that on my plan here, I have this backwards. My text is drawn this way so I could read it, the way it's facing, but I really want the garage door to face down in my AutoCAD drawing, and that's going to help you out later when we go to do elevations. All right. So I could rotate this and, but then it's going to be hard to read the text. So anyways, in the bottom right corner of AutoCAD there, I'm going to do 3 feet 4.5 inches to get to the center of the natural gas. So you got a couple options here. You could draw a line that's, let's go like 12. And then you could just take this and do M, enter, and grab it at the end point and move it in by 3 feet, I believe it was 4.5 inches, and hit enter. Let's just double check that measurement, 3 feet 4.5, good. That's the middle of the natural gas. Now we're not gonna draw a block of natural gas or draw something that looks like a natural gas inlet. We're just gonna put a little box here and we're gonna label it natural gas, all right? So do an offset, do 6 inches. And by the way, if you're in the web app doing this, which is a lot more difficult, especially for a project of this size, when you do offset, you're actually gonna click the line first, and then you're going to go in the direction you want to go, then type your distance, then hit enter. If you're in AutoCAD software, it's just offset, type the distance you want, hit enter, and then move in the direction that you want to move, and then click it down in that direction. So I'm going to make this 12 by 12, and I'm going to get rid of my middle line. And all I did there was I took a line at the end and I just connected from here to here. Okay. So now with my text, this text size is already a good size, which means that I'm just going to double click in that text. I just copied that one. I did C, enter, click down, and then moved it, click down for the base point and then moved it over. But I'm going to change this just to say natural gas, all caps. And then I'm going to click off. I'm going to click it again, and I'm going to type rotate. And then it's saying specify your base point. You can click anywhere in here and just kind of move your cursor to be up, or you could change, or you could type 90 and hit enter. And then I'm just going to do M, enter, and click anywhere and just move that right by there. I also like to put a little X in there saying, hey, there's something here. All right, so that's the first one. The next one is going to be the electrical panel, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a 12 by 12 box, and then we're going to do the same thing for the cable lines, which is just going to be a 12 by 12 box. Now these things are not, that size, especially the cable lines going into the house, but it's just easier to read on a plan, because you got to remember, if this was printed out, at the correct scale, it's going to be on a 24 by 36 piece of paper, and we want it to be big enough to see. So here we go. All right, we got 21 feet 1.5. So I'm going to go like this again and just do 12. And then I'm going to take this and do M enter and go to the end point and move up 21 feet 1.5. I think it was 1.5. Did I make that up? 21 feet 1.5. Yeah. My brain is a little foggy today, so you guys got to be patient with me. Then same thing. Now we could do the offsets and build all that stuff again, or we could just steal this one, copy it from here at that midpoint and go down on the midpoint and then erase the line. All right, so we got that one. And then we could have copied this text all in the same shot too, but we'll do it again. Control C is copy, Control V is paste. By the way, I'm just zooming in and out with the scroller. Wherever your cursor is where it's going to zoom in and out to. Double click on the text, change that to say electric. Perfect. All right, now same thing again. I'm going to draw another line out. Oop. And it's going to be 12, enter. And then I'm going to move this. Now my measurement on my paper is actually wrong. Well, it's not wrong. They're right next to each other, but they're almost too close to each other. So let's see what this looks like when I draw it out. It's supposed to be 22 feet 6. 22 feet 6. Now you can see how close they are to each other. And if they're touching each other, I'm just going to slide it over by a couple inches. It really doesn't matter. It's just got to be close. Copy, midpoint. That's actually fine right where it is. I'm okay with that. All right, I thought they were going to be on top of each other. This one, I'll just move that down a little bit. And then this one, I'm going to do copy, click the text, hit enter, click down, and then slide that, make that say cable. All right, so we're good there. That side's done. The back side of the house has the AC, and then it's got a patio. There is a pool and a shed, but I'm not going to do that on this plan because honestly, it's just drawing a big circle wherever the center of the pool is, and it's drawing another box with walls just like we did with the house. So I don't think it's really that valuable to show in a video. And I'm going to get rid of this too. And then in the front of the house, we got to do the where the poles are, the columns. And I think that's going to be it for the video. I'm sorry, we're going to do a roof plan too, which is pretty easy to do. So here we go with the AC, okay? I'm going to draw, this time I'm going to do 24 inches because the AC is a little bit bigger than those other things. The AC, whoops, wrong plan. The AC is 3 feet 9 from the corner to the center. Now remember, when I was measuring all this stuff, I already took off 2.5 inches for any time I measured from a corner of the siding. If I measured from corner to corner, I took off 5 inches because 2.5 on both sides. That's because the siding overhangs the walls by a couple inches. It actually overhangs on my house by 2.5 inches. So I already did all that math on here. So all these numbers are good to go, which means that I'm going to go 3 feet 9 over. Move, enter, click on this point, slide it over. We're going to go 3 feet 9, enter. And then we're going to do our offsets. And this one we're going to make 24 by 24. And then we're going to move it away from the house a little bit. So 12 this way, 12 that way. Connect the line, get rid of this line. L, enter is line if you want to do it faster. Corner to corner. Space, space. Space gets me out of it. Space gets me back into it. Corner to corner, and then we're going to just take this, move it up by about 4 inches, connect the bottom, take our text. I just did a Control C, a Control V, rotate, click down. You can just move your cursor down in the down direction and click, put that where you want it, double click AC. All right, so that part's done. So that's all the things I'm going to note up in yellow on the outside. The next thing I'm going to do is going to be the patio in the back, okay? From the back right corner, okay? Actually, in the AutoCAD, it's going to be the back left corner. it's going to be 23 feet 10 to where it starts. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my other plan here and I'm going to click on this deck. But before I do that, I'm going to do make objects layer current again. Click on the deck. I don't have any stairs on my house, but if you do, you can click on these lines for the actual steps. One of them is to show the box of the step, and the other one is to show the overhang of the step. So the measurements that I told you to take were these lines. But when you're done putting those lines in for how big the tread is and all that, offset 1 inch to the side of it, and that's going to give you the overhang. Okay, but for me, I'm on A floor casework now, which is the layer that I should just rename that layer to be like decks and patio, but whatever. I use it for other stuff too, so it's not a big deal. So now I'm on my red layer, and I'm going to do another line here. Make sure you zoom in because you don't want to get the wrong corner here. I'm going to draw this out 12 feet because that's how wide or how far out from the house my patio slab is. Then I'm going to select it, I'm going to move, and I'm going to grab this point and move over, and we're going to go, what did we say, 23 feet 10. 23 feet 10. By the way, if you want to know how to shift between windows like that, it's Alt-Tab. I know a lot of people already know that, but some people don't. Alt-Tab just brings you back to the most recent thing you had open. It's a lot faster when you're doing work like this. Next thing, this is off of this, I'm going to draw a line 24 feet because that's how big the patio is. Then I'm going to draw a line and close right there. Okay, I'm not going to put an X here, but I am going to label this as a patio. So if you see on, let's see, I guess I don't have it on there, so I'm going to steal one of these labels. Just grab those with a green box. By the way, left is green, that selects everything that it's touching. Right is blue, that selects only the things that are fully inside of it. So go to the left with a green box, Control C, escape, go back over. I'm also panning by holding down the scroller on the mouse. If you hold that down and move the mouse, it lets you pan. But there's other ways to get to pan too. You can just type it. Control V is paste, slap that on there. Take this stuff, type rotate. I know I'm moving kind of fast, but I don't want these videos to be as long as they are anymore. I want to make them a little bit shorter. I think people see how long the video is and then they decide not to watch it, so I don't want that. All right, so now we can get rid of this. Actually, I'm going to call that, I'm going to double click on this and I'm just going to say concrete slab. So I'm just describing, you know, what it is. This is going to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm mixing this up. Let's put patio slab, and then on this one, you're just going to say the material, concrete. Now we're going to do the size. All right, so we're going to do, this is going to be 24 feet wide and 12 feet long, and then click off. All right, so we get something like that. Let's see, that part's done. Now we got to do, we want to do the poles, okay, the columns. They are 6 by 6 and they are off of this corner, which is the opposite corner of the natural gas. They're going to go 21 feet 9.5. So same thing. Actually, that's structural, so that's going to be orange, which is this right here. So if you see a roof plan somewhere that's not, like this roof plan is actually grouped together. So if you click on it and then type ungroup, it should explode everything apart and give you one of these lines. And I just do a Control C, Control V to get one of those over here. But now I'm going to do a make objects layer current. I'm on my orange. It's called A wall below, which means that there's some kind of structural line that goes all the way down to the ground. Okay. The one that's A wall above, I would use for, like, you know, top cabinets or something like that, because that's something that's above you. All right. So once again, my measurement was 21 feet 9.5. So I'm going to go here. And I actually didn't pay attention to how far out that was. I think it's actually 3 feet from the house to the exterior of the poles. So we're going to go 3 feet. And then I'm going to move this over, just like we've done with the other stuff, 21 feet 9.5 inches. Or actually, it was 23. 23 feet 9.5. No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. My brain is so stupid today. 24. I can't remember numbers. So I just moved that back over 24 inches because I was wrong by 2 feet. All right. So now this is the corner of the exterior of the column. So if you click here and you go 6, technically it's 5.5. Sorry. It's a 6 by 6 piece of wood, but it really measures 5.5. So you're going to go 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, and then you're going to close, and then we can get rid of this. Now, I do have a patio slab in the front too, but it's a sidewalk. You could put that just like we could put the sidewalk going here too, and I would do that in red, and that's totally up to you. I mean, I don't think it's really that important, and we're not gaining anything out of that here, but you know, I roughly know that this kind of goes like all the way around the outside of the house like that. And then I know that I'm actually gonna take these and join them, and that's going to make them all one polyline, and then I'm going to offset it by 3 feet, and that's going to be my sidewalk going around. Now the sidewalk I'm going to explode now on this one because that line's not there, because this actually is the driveway here. So you could put that too, that's up to you, right? But the point of this was that there's a concrete sidewalk here, roughly about there. I didn't measure it. I don't think it's important to measure right now because this plan is not getting submitted to anyone. But we can go 3 feet, and then we could come over, and then let's just say my driveway is like, I don't know, 12 feet wide or something. Honestly, all this stuff, and I said this in the first video too, all of this stuff gets measured by the surveyor, and the surveyor goes out there before any of this work starts, okay? So you can steal that stuff from that document, and that's no problem. But if you want to put it in there, go for it, all right? Okay, so the other structural column, I'm just going to copy that one, and it's going to go a distance of 17 feet 10 from center to center. So I'm going to go like this, a blue box to select all that stuff, copy, grab it from the midpoint, and you're going to go, see, I forgot that number again. That's really bad. 17 feet 10. Normally, I'm pretty good with numbers. All right, so that's it right there. Not showing the door, not showing windows, not showing anything like that. So we're good. Now we're going to do the roof plan, okay? That's our exterior plan. We'll build inside of this later and do walls, windows, doors, all that good stuff. This can go. But now we're going to do the roof plan, okay? So now go back up to this roof plan and do the make objects layer current again, and then you're going to go to polyline, and what you're going to do is you're going to trace around the exterior walls of your house. So if it's going to be just these 4 lines because you're doing mine, or if you've got 27 lines because it's in, out, and you got a really nice fancy house, you're going to trace around, then you're going to do move, and then you're going to click anywhere and just slide that over, and this is going to be our roof plan, okay? Important to note that we had overhangs, all right? So there are overhangs on all 4 sides. I'm done with this document. I'm going to close this one. There are overhangs on all 4 sides, and I have 1 foot 1.5 on the sides. So I'm going to take this and explode it, and I'm going to offset 1 foot 1 1/2 inch on the left and right. We're going out. Then I'm going to measure on the front and back. We're going to do, by the way, keep this document because we're going to need that later for the elevations. We got the front soffit height, the back soffit height, the pitch, all that good stuff, all right? On the back is 2 feet 1.5, and it was the same on the front. So 2 feet 1 1/2. 2 feet 1 and 1/2. All right, now fillet, radius, 0. That just makes a corner. Click, click. Spacebar brings me back in. Click, click, spacebar. You could also hit multiple, and then you don't have to do spacebar. And then we're going to go back over here, and we're going to do match properties. Click the red, because that's my roof layer, and then click on 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm going to do make objects layer current. I'm going to click the red because I got a couple more things to draw on the roof plan. I'm going to go midpoint to midpoint because that's my ridge going down the center, okay? Now, we could steal this text right here. Let's steal all of these. Control C, Control V. Change this to say the pitch of your house. Mine is 612, so I'm going to leave it. And I put direction of slope with an arrow. I sometimes over detail stuff, but I think it's more important to over detail than it is, you know, it's better to over detail than it is to under detail. All right, so this stuff's good. I'm not going to change anything else there. I'm going to throw, I'm not going to do dimensions in this one. We're going to do that later. But you can head over here and grab, all right, so we're going to need this one. This is an open deck below. I'll show you where that goes in a second. And we're going to need, what am I looking for? I don't think it's on this one. All right, so we're going to use that anyways, though. So just grab that. It's definitely on these other ones. See where it says line of structure below? That's the ones you want with 2 arrows, okay? So you're going to do a couple things with this. You're going to put one there, and those are going to say line of structure below. Click off, click, grab this arrow, slide that in a little bit, so slide it in a little bit further. I'm like super neat freak, so I like things to look nice. That's line of structure below. And then we'll do, honestly, I don't want to do that again, so let's just copy it again. All right, so that's good. Now, and I should have copied the other one already, but whatever. Slap this out here, okay? Because the roof layer, no matter how many floor plans you have, when you're at the roof and you're drawing that plan, you're going to have everything that's below it is going to be a different color. It's going to be a light tan, all right? So we're going to do that with the patio right now. So this is just going to say open patio below. Slide that in, leave that right where it is for now. And this is actually really easy. You can just select all of these lines. Whoops. And we actually want the boxes for the columns too. And I mean, honestly, you could do this other stuff as well. That's up to you. You know, again, I like to overdo stuff because, for example, we had a set of plans recently that went out and it came back like 3 times. And at that point, it was just like, all right, you know, this guy in the town wants everything. So we're just going to put everything. So sorry, I just clicked off of that stuff by accident. I'm going to click off my walls. Okay. Copy. Go off the back left corner and slap that on this left corner. And then you're going to trim where you wouldn't see. All right, so like this right here, this all gets trimmed. That stuff you're not even going to see, so just get rid of it. It's underneath the overhang, so you just don't see it. This gets trimmed. That's an extra line. I don't know how that got there. That gets trimmed, and you can get this one out of here too. All right, so we get something like that. Now, I was a little off where this was. Let's just put that in here. And then I believe, oh, we got 2 more things to do. We got to do the front roof, the gable roof in the front, and then we got to go over here. Let's see if I have it already. I don't, because it was a 1-story house, and I didn't put a deck on it or anything. All right, so let's go over here, and let's go to this one, bottom right corner. We're going to do make objects layer current. Also, save your work every once in a while. Save. It's doing auto saves in the background, and this was one of my tips in my tips and tricks video. You should watch that if you haven't seen it. But if you go to options here, you can change open and save to save every 2 minutes. So that way, if you forget to save, it's still saving in the background every 2 minutes, which is nice. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a random line over here, and then I'm going to do, I could have just copied it over, whatever. Match properties, click on the line, and then all this stuff is going to be that tan color. And it's called a shingle. I should really rename that one as well, but it just means that all this stuff is lower. By the way, we forgot that we want these, whoops. And we want them here too. Make layer current, line. I feel like I'm like disheveled this video. Everything is all over the place. I'm really sorry. All right. Now, the dormer in the front, not the dormer, the big gable roof, okay? I need to find the position of it. It's actually centered on these columns. So I'm going to draw one from here to here. The overhang of it is even with the outside of the columns. So I actually should have just went end to end, but that's not a big deal. Match properties, match this to that, which means that since this line, I'm moving this out of the way by 3 inches, this one doesn't need to be here because you're not going to see it anyways. So let's just trim that out and we'll patch it back up in a second if we need it anywhere, and then move this back 3. This is going to go out this way, and then it's going to go in. Now, how far does it overhang? That's the next question. It overhangs by 27 inches from the exterior of the column to the exterior of the overhang. So 27 inches. So if I go here and I go 27, that's how far this line should go. And then get rid of these two. Draw that. I should have been on the red layer, but that's okay. Match properties, red. Click on that one. All right. Same thing over here. We're going to go 27 inches. Just draw a line down. That way you have something to extend this to. Get rid of this line. Although this line actually does need to be here. You can just draw it like that for now. Get rid of this. All right. So we get something like that. Now, this overhang goes in, and when it hits this other roof, it starts angling. And because the angle, because the pitch of this roof here is the same as the pitch here, it's just going to be a 45-degree angle. So click on this end with a red line, do an angle sign, which is shift, comma, and then do 45, enter. And then this is just going to draw up like that and just let it go pretty far. And then same thing here. This one's going to be angle 135 because it's 90 plus 45. And where that hits, and then you're going to trim and draw a line for the ridge of that one. And then you're going to trim, trim, trim. This line was just left over from something else. And that's it. That's the front roof. All right. So listen, I appreciate you guys watching. That's the end of this video. This is all I wanted to draw. And I'll see you guys in part 3 where we're measuring the interior of my tiny little house. All right. See you guys later. Thanks a lot.